Okay. All right. So everyone can see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fabulous. Well, good evening, everyone. And it is a pleasure to join you. As I was mentioning earlier to many of you, I am connecting with you from my home in Grand Prairie, Alberta, which is Treaty 8 territory. So I'm on the traditional lands of the Métis, the Kelly Lake Métis Settlement Society, and the Beaver First Nation. And I'm committed to learning the history of the lands that I live on and how I can support the people who open these lands and continues to strengthen the land that I call home. And I'm grateful to share these lands with the people that have resided here and the newcomers that have come to explore and to learn and live on these lands as well. And tonight, we're going to spend some time, as Al has mentioned, talking about innovative ways to help our Rotary Club membership. And I know that your district is like most in North America. For the last 3 years prior to the pandemic, your July 1 numbers went down by about 1% each year. And your July 1st number last year was down about 3.5%. And like the rest of us, we know we've addressed these challenges many times during our history. Well, it's important that we look as honestly as possible at membership every year. If there's only one point that you take from our discussion tonight, I hope that it is more than ever, we need to be intentional about our club and our meetings. We cannot accept the notion that it has always worked this way in the past without an honest reflection of what we need for the future. So let me start by saying that I know how much that I will cover a lot in a very short time. And most of what I'm going to share with you will not be new. But I'm hoping that you'll grab a nugget or two that will be new and it'll add some value to you as we continue to have our discussion tonight. So I'm going to touch on a few ideas that come to the top of my mind at first. And the two things recognizing that we're going to talk about and recognize is one is value. And Al, you noted that already tonight. In fact, value is really the whole story. If a person sees the value in becoming a member of your club, they will join and they will stay. Studies show that Rotarians leave or never join for time or money. And most clubs meet over a meal. And that's all good if we estimate $20 per meal for a meeting and a few dollars for happy bucks. Then with the typical club dues, the cost of being a Rotarian is about $1,200 per year. If the value is there, there's no problem. Even for our younger populations and our millennials and our Gen X, like my kids, anybody under 40, because we know they'll upgrade their phone every year, or they'll indulge on a daily Starbucks, all of those great things. Then when we look at value, what remains is marketing. We've got to get together at telling the world what we have to offer. So I'm one of 11 Innovative Club advocates currently in Zone 28 and 32. And for those of you that don't know, your district 50/50 is one of 21 districts, in Zone 28, which includes all of Canada and Alaska. And while there's smaller pieces of the US that are also part of our district as well, like yours as well. Now, with our partnering Zone 32, which is mainly US, United States, there's 43 districts and approximately 70,000 Rotarians. Many of you are familiar with the zone coordinators, Sean and others, Dennis Boyd and others, who are here to help and to assist from our clubs and our districts with exploring the three main priority areas, which is membership, foundation, and public image. The Innovative Club Advocates were a new extension of this organization, and we're barely a year old. We were created just before COVID to help clubs and districts find innovative ways to grow Rotary, which primarily, but not exclusively, involves forming new clubs. And later in this presentation, I'll show you some areas where you can find some material on the Zone website that will help provide you with contact information and some other resources that I'm going to be referring to. So as we go and we start to explore to grow Rotary, there's really only three ways. And the first we know is to add new members. And this, of course, is essential. But what does it take? Well, it depends on your club, but it may require the acceptance of culture to change, to adapt to the new folks who are reaching out. And this can be difficult. I'm sorry, there we go. I'm just making sure I get everything lined up at the same time here. So the second way to grow Rotary is also to better engage the members we have and keep them in the club. Now this isn't new growth, but it's certainly essential. And however, though, it can be hard. So change is hard. Some of you that are with us today and others through your district and through your clubs have been around with Rotary for many years, and they've experienced the challenges around instituting change. Well, each year we change our club leadership, we change within our district as well. And once again, we have to address some of those really obvious issues and obvious pieces that come to play. If we want our clubs to attract new and hopefully more diverse members, and if we want to stop losing members, then we need to make some change. Yet every time change is introduced, we are met with resistance. And now I know I've heard, and I believe you may have as well, but we've always done it this way. And we like it. We like our box. Well, I say let's get rid of the walls off the box. And as we discuss over the next few minutes around some effective engagement, it's a decision. It's a conscious effort by all club members, etc., to look at the systems we have in place and to be mindful of looking at ways we can create a product that is open and available for all. And it creates a Rotary Club experience. So changing culture, looking at our product, and being honest. But at the end of the day, the reality of not changing could also lead us into some challenges. So as we explore the opportunity for change, let's look at ways of which is our third way of growing Rotary and truly, truly grow Rotary by looking at new opportunities. So one is, as we've mentioned, is to start new clubs. This is often the easiest way. Often it's easy, it's simple. We can look at ways to bring people in and we can create a new culture. It's quite simple. What it is also that's really special when we're looking at new clubs is to find out what the group wants and working together to find out what will work for the individuals and create it for what they desire. Now, as I understand, your membership series examined step one in very much detail last week on how to make clubs more engaging to your members. So today we're going to focus a little more on step one and step three. So that because we want to recognize that engagement is a way for us to continue to attract new members to our clubs, but it's also a way to keep people engaged once they join. So in the words of Rotary International Director Valerie Wafer, in a world of business, we are constantly changing. We are adapting, we evolve, or we become obsolete. It's a very simple concept. If our product and our services aren't attractive, we will no longer remain relevant to our customer base. I have spoke for years around the opportunities of our members being identified as clients. And when we look at clients and satisfying our clients, when we're in a place of business, we will dig deeper to understand what it is the value proposition we're offering to our clients. And I say, let's do the same through Rotary. It's important we look at the value proposition that we're providing. And it's important to remind ourselves of some of the basic truths. You know, we heard some comments before we started tonight. There's no Rotary police. Well, there's very few rules that are imposed by Rotary International. You know, meeting twice a month, following the Constitution and our policies, but also ensuring that we pay our dues. So how a club operates and what rules they feel are important to comply with and that they create is their look and feel. That's their culture. They get to create what they desire and what works for them. I always refer to it as, let's take the boxes off And let's ensure if we have a box, we move the walls very far out. So the first step is to ensure that there's value to ensure we know who we are and what it is that we desire to do as a club, desire to do to ensure that we're running our meeting effectively. And so we only, we have at times where clubs are looking at, all right, what is it that's the best interest of our members? Well, what I encourage you to do is to do this regularly. Conduct a checkup, conduct an analysis, or conduct an opportunity to get feedback. Ask your members, how are the meetings going? Do they like the way the meetings are being ran? Are there meals? Do they want to have a pledge or an anthem? Is there a sergeant at arms that is issuing fines? And are there any other things that the clubs members are happy with, or they'd like to have some discussions about? Explore new and attractive things that will engage new people to look at opportunities, because not all clubs need to be built on. We have it on a meal. We don't have to have a pledge or an anthem. We don't have to have a sergeant at arms. What's really exciting is that we can look at ways to ensure we're creating a club that's the length of time that somebody desires, has the activities that they desire, and can be a focus for what they desire. It might be the environment, it may be peace, it may be literacy. But many clubs don't ask these questions, and they don't ask them regularly. So I encourage you to think about ways that you can engage in a discussion to find out what is working well, what do your members want? And as recently Valerie has said, give every member of the club a blank piece of paper and ask them to design the perfect Rotary Club. I promise you, you will be surprised at some of the information that you will get back. Also, consider your Rotary Club assemblies and conducting visioning exercise, because this can also help you to stay on track. Develop a multi-year club planning process, which includes, as I mentioned, the visioning, looking for areas where you can provide maybe some successful tools like open space technology, and give those members that sheet of paper and ask them what interests them, and then start to build some actionable and achievable goals in a very, very short time. What we want out of our meeting and our club is not just about our members, right? I've talked about that already. We want to attract new members. Well, our young professionals or millennials get talked about a lot. So let's not forget that our seniors are great additions as well to our club. But we all know that the long-term future of our Rotary clubs depends on us attracting and engaging young professionals. Do you know that they want outside of work? They desire to do great things for communities. They desire to find ways to do great things because they want to spend time with their friends. They want to be active. They want to learn something new. Again, they want to be outside and enjoy. They like to travel. They also are very philanthropic, and they usually have a special cause that they care about. Successful 20-somethings are more likely to think green than previous generations. So, what do we have in our meetings to offer them? Think about it. Ask the questions. Do they want to sing an anthem? Do they want to donate money? Do they want to attend a meeting at lunch? Maybe they want to meet on Saturday. They only need to meet twice a month. Maybe it's a couple Saturdays to do some great things. They don't know. Some will know, but some won't. But we need to ask them. We need to do a great job at spending time of getting and exploring and designing carefully designed marketing information packages and surveys, and getting them out to find out what's important to people. Find out from the young people and young professionals within your community what they care about. It may be health, it could be the environment, it could be peace, but that's an opportunity for you to explore. I've been involved in starting a few different new clubs, And whether you're talking to a new club or leading a self-analysis process with an existing club, I'd like to encourage members to consider doing and being reflecting upon what we call a Chapter 1 club. And this refers to Chapter 1 of the Rotary Manual of Procedures. It's just 5 short pages that include some guiding principles, which is some really key things that are important for a successful club, including our motto, service above self, the 4-way test, the objects of Rotary, the avenues of service, and more. And in my view, the underlying values that make us who we are our core values. And those values of fellowship, service, integrity, leadership, diversity. Well, last year, I was fortunate to charter the Northwest Spirit Passport Club. And they represent a Charter 1 club. And they have very little Rotary tradition in their culture. They have no meal, they have no bell, no sheriff, no anthem, no banners, and so on. They meet twice a month online, and they're built of diverse members from throughout our full district, which is 3 provinces and 2 territories. And their primary focus is on getting their hands-on service projects underway. And they're doing them as they can virtually right now, and look forward to when they can travel throughout the district to do more. So while they're meeting online right now, they're enjoying some amazing social gatherings, some phenomenal speakers, and also planning for the future post-COVID. So as long as we serve our community and our world with integrity and fellowship, and as long as Rotary is fun, then your club will be successful in a place that others will want to be. All other details about Rotary clubs are negotiable. They don't have to be there. So let's talk about having fun. Are your club meetings fun? Do you have greeters to welcome guests and members? And yes, you can do this online. Do you ask guests and visitors about their experience? And yes, you can do that online. Do you have a club innovative chair and committee? This can be a huge benefit for your club. And what about mid-meeting activities or events? There is one learning theory that the typical attention span is no more than 20 minutes. So Jim Margraf, a keynote speaker who was at the Toronto International Convention, said that he uses what he calls ICBs, increased continent breaks, all the time. And he includes that in his TED Talk that he gave recently to over 10,000 people. So there's lots of options. And it's pretty clear that meetings that are fun not only engage our members, but they also help to attract new members. Rotarians have no trouble inviting their friends, their family, and their colleagues to a meeting that is both effective and entertaining, and the new guest will want to come back for more. So ideas that you can include are doing like having some fun dice, where each member has the opportunity to associate with a different activity when they get tossed the dice, and you can do this virtually. Do a squat, arm circles, lunges online, or in person. There's also great ideas from Google. Google's got some fabulous laughing coaching tools you can use as well. And you can use some other options as well, like some different music clips, and encourage some random volunteers to do some dance or moves or etc. And those that we can do online as we're meeting tonight, and we can do, and then once we're meeting in person again, we can add these different tools to help to ensure that our meetings are fun. So now that you know that your club meetings are fun, what about the rest of the Rotary experience? And we encourage your members to recommend projects. So reach out to your members, ask them what's important, ask them what they're passionate about. I heard of one club that gives every new member a budget for a service project in their very first 2 years. Make sure you use your service projects and fundraisers as an opportunity for social interaction and outreach. Invite family and friends. This is where you will find new and younger members as well. As you know, and we talked about already tonight, our young people want to be involved. It is also important to remember that not all projects or fundraisers need to be big. Maybe a group of volunteers get together to help to raise funds or collect food for the local food bank or to donate blood. Well, in my year as governor, I had many discussions with club boards that were frustrated not by not being able to raise as much money as they had in previous years. And while I share with you that my message to them was always the same, there is nothing in Rotary that says we have to do more each year than we did the year before. Remember the core values: service and fellowship. And remember the fifth pillar of the four-way test: is it fun for all concerned? So what we've learned through COVID, well, I think we can all agree we've learned quite a lot. The world of Rotary will never be entirely the same. And as we've discovered things that actually work better and more cost effectively, it is the virtual world. I'm visiting you from Northern Alberta tonight at the click of a button. So let me share 7 lessons that we've learned that will help to give you some tools as you go forward. So it isn't the meal that makes a Rotary meeting. Let's face it, watching people eat on Zoom is probably not a high point in your day. Sure, the in-person world, there are a lot of us that appreciate the fellowship from the weekly meal together. We also don't need to meet weekly. But there's also no doubt that both time and money are saved if we don't have that regular part of the meeting. And this can make your club more attractive to new members. Really look at your digital image. It is no longer an option. And as I've said to many others, let's not waste a crisis, because it is necessary to ensure that we look great online. Your Facebook and your website presence must be kept up to date, and hopefully with good graphics and a sense of fun, as well as reporting on the fellowship and service you're all about. Why not pay a monthly stipend to an Interact student to help to keep this up to date? And we must be proactive. We can no longer expect members to find us. And this goes back to the discussion that I had just shortly with you around the Chapter 1 clubs. Don't think of your club as the group that meets Tuesday for lunch. Think of your club and yourselves as a fellowship of community-minded citizens who serve your community well-being, and with the focus centered in your mind on service and where can you find new members to help to go through COVID and the rebuilding following COVID. It's much easier now to invite top-level Rotary and other speakers to your meetings. You know, we're doing tonight I'm visiting again from Northern Alberta, and you have that opportunity to invite anyone from anywhere. We also can invite our new members when we conduct induction, to ensure that they invite their family from all around the world to be part of it. You may want to rethink also your membership requirement. Members leaving the community or changing their work or personal circumstances need not to be a reason to leave anymore. Remember that attendance exceptions come from the club bylaws. There are none from the district and almost none from Rotary International. If we're going to be open and fun, we also must be sensitive. And I'd say to you, take this seriously. Demand zero tolerance of inappropriate words or behavior, and ensure everyone feels welcome and included and part of the family. And for either fully virtual or hybrid meetings, we may want to consider our traditions. Is there an anthem? Well, group singing does not work so well on Zoom. But what about, your meeting order? Maybe the speaker is first allowed their time to minimize their commitments. Maybe look at different options as well for your speaker. Consider the fun factor we discussed earlier and mix up the online experience, and consider investing in equipment to make the meeting present well virtually. So the sky's the limit. You can also consider things like, what about what's that grant? Learn about faraway places from where faraway Rotarians are, and maybe about their projects that are happening around the world. Or maybe you can hold a night or an evening or an afternoon where you say, let's meet the family. Let's ask our adult children to speak about their professions and hobbies. Be creative and look at what your opportunities are. And social media. So now that we've made sure that value is in the product, let's sell it. And this is not new to anyone. And I'm sure that by far the greatest return for your marketing dollar is digital. And I'll touch on that on the lessons from COVID. I have touched on that for me in those lessons from COVID previously. But, again, this is not new. We did not need a pandemic to tell us that we needed to tune up our digital presence, but we can do it now. And we cannot afford to have a poor website. And we definitely need to use social media to get the word out. So make sure you have a commitment from your club that focuses on your digital face, and also use Rotary's brand guidelines, which you can find on rotary.org. And it's really easy to follow, and the systems and the processes are there to help guide you. So a great way to inform the community about the value of Rotary is also to host a business mixer after hours. And as we all know, our local Chamber of Commerce have been doing this for years. So make sure you have some well-designed displays or videos to improve the community awareness of Rotary and possibly attract new members. Have an interesting speaker with a short message. Again, make the event fun. Also, as well, invite others to join that may be interested to hear that speaker. And also consider about engaging with some food and some drinks, or maybe even a door prize for those that do attend. We have on the Zone website some great tools that you can download, and one is our basic hallmarks of an innovative club. And so I encourage you to find that on the Zone website, and some of you will also have appointed an innovative chair, and we thank you for doing so. Also considering having diversity at your meetings and having an exciting and accurate web presence. And these are some great tools to help you. They're innovative, they're opportunities for you to look at ways to be stronger and to be effective. Our Zone Club Runner website can easily be found. Just Google Rotary Zone 2832. And when you get onto the page, go to the resources page, which is at the very top tab at the top. And then you can select the images that you're looking for from the Innovative Club Advocate page. And we're starting to load some really useful material that will be helpful for you, including some of our copies of our monthly presentations on discussions that we've had around how to start a new cause-based club, how you can effectively start a passport club. We've also have some great tools around Rotaract, etc. So I encourage you to use this area, and it's an amazing place for you to connect and just grab some tools that are available and work really well. And Sean, thank you so much for sharing that there for us. So I'll conclude with a few words from President Holger Knapp. Rotary has a big heart, and if we open our door wider, we'll find a lot of interesting people with new voices and new perspectives. So as we think about where we are today and where we're going, I'm really honored to have your attention and to be able to share with you in service and to be able to help you to do the best possible in growing Rotary. So I'm here and happy to answer any questions you may have. And I did see there was just one question that came into the chat box. I'll stop sharing so that gives us a chance to have some interaction as well. Okay, so there was a question that just came up around what is a passport club? So a passport club, we have a great video that we've recorded that you'll find on the Zone website. It is a really neat opportunity. A passport club is where you can design what works well for the members, and you can engage. Oh, and I love this. We need a session on the passport club. I'd love to come back and share, because we did a dynamite session for the Zone on the passports. But passports where you can engage diversity from your community, from your district, to even around the world, to be part of your club and to do great things. It was originally designed on the passport that you could travel from club to club and get it's like a stamp type of aspect, and visit other clubs, learn about service, meet new people, travel the world. But we've also seen passport clubs being designed within districts that are really focused on engaging people from the district, people from a community on a cause or on service, all about giving back and connecting. There's no, I'll be honest, there's little boxes around them, like there's little meaning none, boxes around them. They're open, there are opportunities to explore and do great things. And I know, Sean, you've been part of creating a passport club in the past, and it's worked really effectively through the districts, and also has worked really effectively on engagement, on fellowship and connections. So if desired, I'd love to come back sometime, or even Peter could come back sometime and we can share, because we've got a really beautiful, and I'm going to say it's really awesome presentation on it.
And Tracy, we do have a passport club in our district, and Linda Jean and I are both members of it. And I will add the website link into the chat box, and anyone who wants to join us for a meeting, you're welcome to. I can't tell you what the next meeting is about because it's a mystery meeting. Ooh. Tell us what's happening, so that's going to be fun.
So again, you can do things differently. Think of different opportunities and what you can do at a passport club. So the one club that I'll share with you on the Northern Spirit Club that I mentioned, they're a passport club and they desire to move through our district to do service. So they come together online twice a month, but then through the rest of the year, they look at ways that they can come together and do service and support the clubs throughout the district in service projects. And they also get engaged as well with different charities, not-for-profits. When they hear there's a cause, that's what they're focused on, is what can we do to offer our time and offer our service to others. So thank you, Sean, for sharing that too as well.
So does anybody else have questions? Sure, Linda Jean?
Not a question, just a comment. One of the really great things I think about the Passport Club is, first of all, there is no box. You know, we basically look at doing what people want to do and encouraging that. But one of the things that we set up is that, you know, we have people from all over the district, both from Canada and the United States, in our Passport Club. And people who come to Rotary are often community people who are already involved. I know I had tried to you know, encourage a couple of people that I knew to join Rotary. And the reason they didn't was because they thought they would have to give up what they were already doing in the community in order to do what Rotary was doing in the community. So one of the things that we make really clear is, and we have asked them to report it so that we can put it in Rotary Club Central, is, you know, what are the volunteer activities that you're doing? In other words, everyone in the club does not need to be doing the same thing. And I think it's important to acknowledge what people are doing and are committed to, in addition to what they become involved in Rotary.
Very, very true, Linda Jean. And, you know, the opportunity of also growing membership through that as well, and engagement, families, friends, because it's cause-based more of cause to service. Pete, I think you've got your hand up there too as well.
Yes, thank you. I'm the president-elect, and I'm getting a number of calls as we discuss, and I've just run a survey. We're discussing the requirements to be a club and some of the innovative things that you're talking about. And I'm getting calls from older members like myself in the 70s range who are not particularly crazy about making changes. So what's your magic potion?
So Pete, thank you for bringing up a really important topic. I am so honored with our founders, and I highly respect every member that has helped to build Rotary to where it is today. Our older, more senior members that are staying with, we've always done it this way, they've got a box here, that's their comfort zone. And I'm really mindful that that comfort zone is where they're comfortable. That's okay for them to stay there. It's also okay for us to explore new opportunities and develop new innovative club models and not to offend them. It's not an offensive aspect to say you need to change. If you're comfortable in that club is going, and that club is comfortable to stay at that place, that is okay. But we know that's not sustainable, because that's not the desire for our young people who want to come into Rotary. The people that are desiring to be part of Rotary and will be part of Rotary for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So we're, really mindful. I have taken the approach of, I thank you so much and I honor you. I honor you for what you've given to Rotary, and I'm proud of what you've given. We also need to create Rotary for what's going to work for others, and that's why we're creating these new opportunities. And it's hard. I'll share with you, even in my current club, which is a fairly new club, we had some members, including myself and others, that came from other clubs. We brought history with us. We brought a culture, and we've had to work to dissolve that, so we don't stay on the mandate of what it was before, to help to create and build an environment that works for everyone. And so change management is one of those pieces of kindness, but being clear and being effective, and still acknowledging very much to them, you honor them, but this is important for Rotary and for others. In the Passport Club session that we did, just because you also mentioned that you're exploring the opportunities, is we have a toolkit that we've designed, and we've designed 8 steps on creating new clubs. So that is on the Zone website, and it's part of the discussion that we have from the Passport design, but it would be really helpful for you to grab that, because it's 8 steps to help you in developing new club. And the first one is grab a champion. Grab that champion to help you and to lead it, so that you step away and still can do the good work you're doing, but that champion will take and engage new people and won't deal with some of the other pieces that you may need to deal with under the change management.
Where do I get that, the 8 steps?
It's on the Zone website, and what I can do following tonight is I can email the link to Al, and he can send it out to everyone.
That would be helpful. I don't know how to get to Zone 28.
I can grab that. Thank you.
Thanks
Pete.
for your help.
You are so welcome, and thank you for bringing that really important topic up. Cindy.
Yeah, so back to the Passport Club, is that a group that, is it a second group that you belong to, or do some people just belong to a Passport Club?
You would just belong to the Passport Club, but it gives you that opportunity that you can travel to other clubs, as we all do anyways. So that was the original concept, was that, and that started in California. The first Passport Club was initiated on the concept of, gave me the chance to tour about. But you would be a member, you're a Rotary member, it's an official club. And so you'd be a member of that club, and you can always host and come to your own meetings, or you can as well travel about and enjoy other meetings as well.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a brand new concept to me. I'm sorry, I hadn't heard about it, but so I guess we can go to any meeting we want to go to as well. So I guess that's where I'm a little confused, but you're saying more their focus is to travel from club to club or something.
That was the original. Today, we see them more involved, and we've got a couple members here that can share examples with us.
Okay.
We see very much focused on service, less boxes, less structure around needing to meet weekly, less structure around meals. It's really more fluid, and you create something that is really nimble and flexible that will work for you and your members. Okay. And so we've seen cause-based Passport Clubs who are focused very much on human rights. We've seen on gender equality, on the environment. So we've seen these different cause-based that have developed through a passport. And it's where we have a champion that says, human rights are very important to me, and I'm going to bring together a group of other beautiful people that desire to be part of that, and collectively build a club through that. So it's very nimble, very flexible, no boxes. Yeah. And it's tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Yeah. And I just want to put one more piece in, and I've done this a couple of times tonight, and I'm sorry I didn't catch myself, but I mentioned the word meetings a lot. I actually don't believe we come to meetings. I think we come to fellowship and service. And so when I'm inviting people or when I talk about Rotary, because we still have a lot of concepts out there of the old, this is it, you need to be at this level of a leader in the community, you need to be at this level of an individual, and this is your responsibilities. It's like the old Rotary. And so I've tried to break that down and said, why don't you come and enjoy some fellowship and hear a great speaker that we're having at Rotary tonight? Or why don't you come and help us? We're doing a world cleanup and we're planting trees. And I don't use the word meeting. I did a lot tonight, but I usually don't. So I share that with you, something as well to think about. Linda Jean, I think you've got your hand up there too. Yeah. Oh, you're on mute right now, hon.
Myself. Yes, I do, because first of all, I always have a lot to say. What can I say?
I love
Anyway,
it.
just a couple of things that have come up regarding the Passport Club, because one came up about belonging to more than one. There are several members of our Passport Club, myself and Sean are two of those, who retain association with their original Rotary Club.
Mhm.
Rotary, I mean, first of all, it's like you've mentioned several times, it's your bylaws, it's how you want to establish your club. And of course, the club has to allow that. Rotary International only recognizes one club that you are a member of as a Rotarian, and that's the club that pays your dues and to which your contributions to the foundation go. But that doesn't preclude you from having an affiliation with another club. Like I have stayed in contact with my original Rotary Club. They wanted me to do that, and I wanted to do that. And you know, I go to their meetings, not every week because I don't have time to go to their meetings every week. But if I did, I would. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't go every week, but I'd probably go, you know, a couple of times a month. So the Passport Club meets twice a month. But the other thing, and this is true for a number of others, and Tracy, you alluded to this as well, is a meeting, quote unquote, not using that word, doesn't have to be coming together with people around the table or around the computer, et cetera. It in fact can be that social, that meets the criteria Rotary has for meeting twice a month. It could be your service project. You know, it's you define what you need, what you want to be a meeting. It's not set in stone. And the other thing is, one of the things you'll find, and I'm listening to some of the differences that Tracy's talking about, there are many passport clubs, and you will find a lot of differences between the passport clubs. Just like you have differences between Rotary clubs, you have differences between, you know, the different types of Rotary clubs. And that's one of the really wonderful things, and talk about being innovative. I mean, if you're going to push innovation, you cannot push sameness. It gets down to those cores that you mentioned. You know, you have to meet twice a month, you have to pay your dues, etc. After that, the door is wide open. And so and the other thing is, one of the things that when passport clubs first started, and some are still doing this as well, is because passport members can come from a wide geographical area, they're encouraged to get involved with the Rotary clubs in their local area with their projects. And I don't think there's a Rotary club that would you know, turn the door on someone who's willing to volunteer and help them with projects that are happening in their community. And when we started our festival, and Sean was our champion when we got started. And we actually talked a lot about, you know, get involved in with the Rotary clubs in your local area and help them out. And I'll just end with one of my favorite, I'm full of sayings, right? And one of them is, in fact, there's no one right way, period.
And you know, Linda Jean, I agree. And Sean, I know you had your hand up there too as well. So I'm going to ask you to jump in, because big time, don't, you know, it's about create something that's going to work. Don't try and put people in a box. That's a big piece. And that's where one of the gifts the Passport Club allows is that be creative. You know, if you want to have a night where you come together and play games, that could be your night. You come together and play games. You get to choose that. Sean.
I just want to say that the idea of the Passport Club originally was to be member driven. So we wanted to recreate Rotary. So we went to our members and said, what do you want? And it was specifically, we found people who had, commitments in life. So they may not be able to spend the time or the money to join a regular Rotary Club. So that's why we meet less frequently. That's why our costs are significantly lower typically. But the idea is that this applies to any Rotary Club. So I know a number of you are presidents-elect. You don't have to start a new club and call it a Passport Club. You don't have to change your name to a Passport Club. You talk to your members and say, what would you like this club to be? What's your vision for us? And make those changes. And you have the perfect right to do that within your existing Rotary Constitution. So you can be a Passport Club without the name.
And have fun doing it. Use some of that visioning exercises, etc., and have fun. Lance.
Yeah, I really appreciate the information you passed along, and I agree with so much of it. But Pete brought up a point that I think is very relevant. I'm part of a club that we have aged, and we've brought in some folks that are younger, and we work still to do that. But kind of what you're discussing is a concern to me, because while I agree with it, it almost is looking to fracture or splinter the club into different pieces, where it's instead of one club of approximately 100 members, potentially 2 clubs of 50 or 3 clubs of 30. Because there's going to be some people, that if you kind of push to support one faction, you're going to lose some of your established faction, is my concern. And that so it's a catch-22. And then you throw in this wonderful past year we've all had in the 4 walls we live in. So we're facing a lot of things, and truthfully right now, coming in as a president-elect, all I'm trying to do is to cobble us back together. And I don't know if there's any other presidents-elect that feel kind of the same way as I do. While we've met online and we've tried to continue a semblance of Rotary, there's some key people that have been a part of our Rotary Club that aren't into the digital component. They flat out said, I'm not going to meet, for my Rotary Club online. I'm online enough and they don't like it enough in their job. So I guess I'm kind of, asking, do you see where I'm concerned of that potentially fracturing a club where you're no longer as viable?
So if I can add a couple things, your comments really resonate with me, and I appreciate you bringing them up and riffing off of Pete's thoughts earlier. So the average size of a club is 12 members. And those 12 members, if you look at the numbers, those 12 members can be powerful.
Yes.
So it may not be the size to be truly concerned about. I would, really encourage to explore ways of having a connection. And you hit it at the end here about building that culture and that trust together. Because as you've noted, COVID has separated us. I mean, my gosh, I start at Zoom in the morning from 7 a.m. and I'm usually done, whenever I'm done my Rotary goodies in the evening. It's real. So when I spoke earlier about the value, how are we creating value right now online? Are we doing some games? Are we having some of that, the dance moves? Are we looking at ways we can do service online? We have clubs right now that are hosting online service practices of sewing groups. So for Days for Girls or doing masks, there's one club that I heard of that did over 40,000 masks. Those masks then were given out to community groups within the community, but they were looking for ways to continue to do service and to continue to have fun and be engaged online. It may be something fun, Lance, that pulls them together. So those members that are saying, I'm sorry, I can't be here. Our club created, it's reading between the wines. So it's a book club and we're reading and we have a glass of wine. And so it's a virtual book club that we're doing now online once a month. So finding some of those tools that you can use to bring in and engage. And as a president, you have some great flexibility and great opportunity to explore and just say, hey guys, we're going to try this today. Let's do it. You are going to hit that change management control of we've always done it this way and I'm struggling. And, you know, honestly, again, kindness and cares and respect is a big piece of it, but also understanding that we do need to go forward. We are not going to go back. Rotary will not be the same going back. We are going to face where there are members that will not come back to be online or come back in person. So when we talk about a hybrid model, we really believe that we're going to see a lot of hybrid models. And we're also we've already started to see where clubs are saying, we're not meeting just to meet. We're going to come together, have fun, do some service. And when we can come back together, we're going to be working hard in service. We know service breeds membership. It does, because we are active. I always say, let me get my hands dirty. I was in Vancouver for the Peace Conference there a few years back, and I loved getting my hands dirty in Stanley Park. There was a whole group of us that went out, and we were cleaning out all the Irish ivy, or English ivy that had spread out through Stanley Park. And let me tell you, that sits in my heart. And I made friends with Rotarians from all over, and I still stay connected with them. So, you know, Lance, I'm being bold with you, as I said in the presentation, we've got to find the ways and be bold and take the initiative and expand our sphere. Because as we look at where our membership trends are, we're down. We have to create this future of Rotary. I have a granddaughter who just turned 6. And that I'm doing what I can to ensure Rotary is there to support her and the community going forward. I think I got a 2-minute mark and I see hands up. So I'm going to, okay. So there is a question that came up that's really important. Cindy, yes, clubs only need to come together twice a month. And whatever you create is what you create. You don't have to come together for dinner. You don't have to come together for lunch. You can do as you wish. Okay, Linda Jean, 30 seconds.
Just very quickly, my point on there's no one right way is you can do more than one thing. Everyone in your club does not have to do the same thing at the same time. You can have, you know, rather than fracturing off into separate clubs, you can have different, look at a family, and not everybody does everything together at the same time. It's the same thing, any corporation, but think of it in that way.
Awesome, thanks, Linda Jean. Pete.
Okay, I took to heart what you're saying to Lance and I'm putting it into the phrase, we're all in transition. We're just all starting from different places.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Beautiful. Well said, Pete. Really well said. Thank you. Gail.
Muted, Gail.
Hi, I'm from Port Moody, and we have a very strong club. We are very, very, very lucky. And we're trying to do projects right now that are outside, building paths in areas that need to be done. And we're doing new projects that we haven't really tried before, because we know we can't get together in a restaurant, we can't do that sort of thing. And so I think what we got to do is worry about just keeping connected by our weekly meetings that are online, but keeping connected by going outside, doing a hike, cleaning a path somewhere. We're doing a new path in Port Moody that has never been there before, because it's something new we can do, and trying to get new people involved in some of those types of things. I've been in Rotary for 20 years, and I found it really frustrating with all this stuff that first happened. But I'm finding now that we're bringing new, younger people in our group, because they're seeing that there are new things that are there. And we've got people now the last few weeks coming in that are really happy because they can get involved in some of the things. They're building our, we've got one guy that came in our group just about 6 weeks ago, and he's trying to help us build a better computer system that we haven't had in years, so that it will be easier for us to communicate together. So I think that's what we've got to do, is just sort of do it little by little. And I think Rotary is going to become bigger over the next few years by
Yes.
these things happening. And I've been around a long time.
Mhm.
So
Gail, it's-
I just am positive with what's going on.
that is awesome. And thank you for your leadership. And I'll share with you, the sense of belonging is the biggest piece. When we feel we
Mm.
belong,
Yeah.
we have that culture, we're connected. We know we're healthier. We know that we'll be able to connect at a higher level and do more things. I study the sense of belonging in my work, and I'm in my charitable work that I do, and it's critical. Now, I know, Al, we're past time.
One
I
more
see-
from Lori. Let's get President-elect Lori up here.
I'd love to hear from Lori. I was going to ask, but I wanted permission. Lori, we'd love to hear from you.
Let me just say, this has been a very inspirational hour, and I'm really excited about the dignity and respect that you have shown all of us, that I truly feel that the new ones like myself, I've been involved maybe 3 years in Rotary. I'm here because of the fellowship and the service, as you were speaking about before. And I look forward to this year ahead. I know that it's going to be exciting, and change is always scary, but you know what? Look on the bright side. We are all in this